Farrell, 7 years old. One time I got stung by 10 bees. I started to run and scream. My mom ran out of the house. I didn't feel very well, so I started to cry. My big brother invited me to a movie. It was called Hot Lead and Cold Feet. After that, it made me feel better, and I've been okay ever since. Farrell, 12 years old. Dear Grandma and Grandpa, I will always remember you and the way you spoil us when we come down. Every time we come to your house, we always get a heaping bowl of ice cream with chocolate sauce and an almost bursting stomach. You are never hesitant to let us go swimming or out to eat. You also never let a missionary go on a mission without a handful of money. And you never fail to write to each of them about 1,000 times. And when they get home, you give them lots of hugs and kisses. I think all of the missionaries really appreciate the love you give them. The ways you always give us a present on our birthdays and Christmas really amazes me. You must spend a fortune on each of us. I can't see how you can afford it. You encourage all of us to do right all of the time. I especially love it when you come up and spend the evening and read histories or something like that. You like to share enjoyments with us, like Andrea learning to walk, and other achievements like that. I like the way we are always welcome in your home, even when it comes to staying a couple of days. I love you. From Lynn. I remember one of Mom and my appointments when I was about 10 years old. For quite a while, Mom and Dad had appointments with each kid to have some individual time with them. We had one with Dad once a month and one with Mom once a week. This particular appointment, Mom and I planned to manicure each other's nails. I can remember carefully arranging the couch with numerous pillows and blankets so we'd be especially comfortable, and then waiting till Mom got the other kids to bed. We then proceeded with the manicure. After we were done, I wasn't terribly impressed with my nails, but Mom was thrilled with hers. She went on and on about how nice they looked and kept showing them to me, asking if I didn't think they looked nice too. I felt so warm and good, thinking that I had really contributed to something that made Mom so happy. Jane. In our growing up years, Mary Ann and I often got into arguments over relatively trivial matters. It was usually me that would burst into tears and run into my neatly arranged room, plop on my bed, and cry my frustrations into my pillow. Because of Mary Ann being my younger sister, I felt that my position of seniority lent to some respect, which I never got. I felt that Mary Ann was sloppy, blunt, and insensitive, and she in turn felt that I was prissy, unyielding, and selfish. This difference in personalities gave way to many heated arguments as we grew up, each refusing to see the other side. But as we grew older, I started becoming aware of Mary Ann's qualities and attributes. I found Mary Ann creative and talented with a real ability to sing and act, and a sensitivity to people that I had never seen before. When I finally accepted Mary Ann as my equal, she being better than me at some things and I better than her at others, we became good friends. Now Mary Ann and I can talk to each other about our feelings and thoughts. We support and help each other in our various activities, and we found that we love each other very much and really have done all along. All in all, I'm sure glad I got stuck with a sister named Mary Ann. Catherine, 13 years old. What's this on my dresser? A prayer rock? And a little verse that Jane made up to go with it? It's really cute, and Jane did it. She's such a sweetie. I admire her so much. Catherine, 15 years old. Alan is leaving for Duke in 5 days. It's been fun to get to know him better in the past couple of months. I know that as people get older, they tend to treat everyone like equals. I think that's what Alan is finally doing. It's good to have him talk to me about Angela or school. It makes me feel important. I'm glad that we've overcome this long plateau we've been on for years. Catherine, 25 years old. Giving the gift of music was one of the best things you two could give me as a child. You encouraged so much the enjoyment of listening to and participating in music. It was so awesome living in an ever-moving, ever-changing home with music all around. Singing Broadway tunes around the piano, listening to the kids play their instruments, the 4 hymns practicing, Farrell playing Charlie Brown on the piano. It was such a joy to create a concert with the 5 youngest kids, complete with makeshift curtains and perform it for you. You were a perfect audience, so enthusiastic about a mediocre performance. All this was immensely fulfilling and enriching in my life. John, 21 years old. A few weeks ago, Angie Hogue came home from Jerusalem. I hadn't seen her in 2.5 years. It was great to see her again. Last Tuesday, I went to her house again. After looking at each other's pictures, we had a long talk, a heart-to-heart talk. At one point, she said, "It's weird to be talking about these things with a guy I like." Whoa! I was thinking the same thing. So there's the situation with Angie. I like her a lot. I haven't kissed her yet or held her hand, but a couple of times I've been able to get up the courage to put my arm around her. She's one of the most amazing individuals I know. Her testimony is bright. She's excited about life. She's happy. She's got a great family, and she likes me. Laura, 20 years old. She rushed into our family and swept away my brother, just like she owned him, leaving me with one less friend. Obviously, she didn't care how I felt. But Nadine would tell stories. She'd sit in the big white chair and carry me to a land of fairies and sorcerers and enchanted kingdoms, her words dancing in the air. Afterwards, she'd let me admire her book. And when I got sick and needed a project, Vicki taught me to crochet. We went on a special trip to Fred Meyer and bought mauve yarn, a perfect color for an Afghan. With Alan at work, Angela and I spent the day roaming the street of New York. She even helped me with my silly idea of collecting bags at Bloomingdale's, Saks Fifth Avenue, and Tiffany's. Even though I said it was no big deal, Laurel gave me heart-shaped cookie cutters and a card for graduation. Inside was a picture she'd drawn of me. They expect me to call her sister now, which I will. But secretly, I think I will call her friend. Alan, 29 years old. When I began law school at Duke, each person was assigned to a small section class, which contained only 25 students or so. During that first semester, we members of Section 2 collectively tackled something that was, for most of us, the hardest thing we had ever attempted: law school. After the first semester, we were no longer had small sections, but I had a core group of friends and companions. During the rest of our time at Duke, everyone kind of fanned out, befriending other members of the class of '89. And actually, many of the best friends I had made in law school were not from Section 2. However, the core had been established. It seems to me that the Lord has effectively used this small section concept to help us here in our second estate. I came into the world with 5 immediate friends, with 7 more eventually joining us. There's Boyd, the active, fun-loving thinker. Jane does things right. John, the academic sports nut, and Laura, the light-hearted. David, the cheerfully intense idealist. Marianne, who buys 6 CDs and then has to borrow money for lunch. Lynn, the loving older sister, and the naturally hip Catherine. Easygoing but directed Farrell. Mom with her skill for quiet relationships. And Dad who will not stop working on a problem until he has it solved. And then there's me. It's nice, you know, having this small section. The members have all fanned out to various degrees, but the core is still there. They don't have the same house anymore. We don't see each other every day anymore. But they are all undeniably still very much a part of the Edwards Small Section. For most of us, the first semester has passed, and we're getting to know what the rest of the world is like. But the Edwards Small Section provides the firm and sure foundation. And now, that core of love that has tied the Edwards Small Section together all these years has extended and grown to include spouses, children, and grandchildren of your own. From one small section to 29 and growing, from 12 members to 136 and growing. Love is a wonderful thing, isn't it? There's just no end to it.